Hey everybody, Motorpoet 59 here. Again, I haven't done any of these in a while. I'm really got burnt out on politics over the last year or so. Uh, I've pretty much come to the conclusion that there's nothing I can do but vote. Um, when I make these videos, I always hope that they'll find their way to someone that disagrees with me, someone who needs to hear this. But pretty much it would appear that the only people who see this are people who do agree with me. Um, I hope you folks share these with people that you know who disagree with me and you. I have had comments over the years with people who did disagree with me, but they never want to debate. They want to tell me what an idiot I am and I'm crazy and I'm stupid. And when I confront them in a debate fashion, I don't yell and scream at them. I don't call people names. I don't do that in real life, and I don't do it on online. But when I do that, they either come back with more of the same silliness, or they just don't continue with the debate at all. When that happens, I generally say, here are the facts. These are facts that you can look up. And they're not going to do it. The liberals, and especially the progressives, are not going to spend any time or energy looking into anything because they're intellectually lazy. Some of them are just stupid. They're not ignorant. Ignorant kind of, in my opinion, means that you don't have the information that is available, and then when I tell you something here, then you can go look it up and be informed. But they're not going to do that. I'm talking, these people are just intellectually lazy. They may be educated, but they're still stupid. It's very, very disheartening. I remember, and I'm sure some of you do as well, that we used to be able to talk to each other and say, wait a minute, what about this and what about that? The liberals and the conservatives, the Republicans and the Democrats, we only disagreed politically, but it's become ideological in the United States of America. And when you look historically at how ideologies have divided countries, that stuff generally has ruined those countries and has caused wars. The ideologists I can think of right off the top of my head: Adolf Hitler, Lenin, Stalin, Pol Pot. These are people who became embroiled in ideological battles. And when those people took over, it was never a case of everybody getting on board and saying, you know what, we agree with you. It was a matter of people forcing people to see things their way. The brown shirts under Hitler, Mussolini, those people, they went out and beat people up. They were like unions. They went out and beat people up. They killed people and destroyed things to try to get people to see things their way. Sound familiar? Philadelphia, Detroit, Atlanta, Seattle, San Francisco. Sound familiar? We used to be fair. Justice used to actually be justice in the United States, and it really was 99% of the time. It really was blind. It really didn't matter if the person believed this or believed that. Juries took a look at the evidence that could be presented in court and made a rational, reasonable decision. Recently, O.J. Simpson died a few days ago. Good riddance. But even O.J. Simpson's trial was, in my opinion, fair. I was never convinced. I followed it. I was never convinced that he killed anyone. I was never convinced. The prosecution was never able to present any evidence that I saw or heard about that convinced me that he did it. Was he involved? Absolutely he was involved. I believed that. I believed it then. I still believe it. But I don't know that he did it. I'm not going to say I don't think he did it, or I think he did it. I don't know. I was just never able to be convinced by the evidence that I saw and heard about that he was guilty, even though I knew he was guilty of being involved. But he wasn't being charged with being involved. He wasn't being charged with having someone else do it. He was being charged with murder that he did. And I was never convinced that he did that. I've always been a believer that the pendulum would eventually swing the other way. And over the course of my lifetime, it has, even in California. But California, I just don't know. I love California. I won't move. This is my home. This is where my family is. It's where I've spent my whole life. I love everything about California except the politics and how much it costs to live here. But where am I going to go at 65? I'm almost 65 now. Where am I going to go? What am I going to do when I get there? I'm going to go to Idaho with everybody else that's left from California to go live there, where the median price of a home is now almost $500,000, which is about $200,000 more than the median cost of a home here in Bakersfield. No, I'm not going to do that. Those states anyway, Idaho, Texas, I've said this one. Texas is the next California. All the big cities in Texas and in Idaho are now being controlled by Democrats. They're turning blue. I don't care how many conservatives go up there. They're not going to be able, and they're going to move out in the country and build them a nice cabin so they can hunt and fish and do whatever, but they're going to be outnumbered by the people in the population centers, just like we are in California, and it's happening in Texas. And I don't want to move and end up in 10 years, should I live that long, in the same boat I'm in right now. America, the pendulum has been swinging left for a long time. Even through the presidency of Donald Trump, that pendulum was still swinging to the left. He got it to slow down a little bit, but then we see what happened. Whatever he was able to slow down, when Biden got elected, they kicked it in the ass and sped it back up so they could catch up to where they were. And I don't know when that'll come back. I don't know if it will be in my lifetime. I certainly won't be in my lifetime in California. There's big changes are going to have to happen in California. The liberals that congest the cities in Los Angeles and Sacramento and San Diego, even though San Diego's not as blue as Los Angeles is, until those people start to see the light, which if they haven't seen it yet, I don't know that they ever will. San Francisco is collapsing. It is cratering to the point where Gavin Newsom is trying to allow the city of San Francisco to sue grocery stores for trying to get out of California, for trying to leave, to try to force them to stay open in San Francisco. It's incredible. It's incredible the things the Democrats come up with that just rubs those so wrong against the Constitution, against American principles. California has really become, the government of California is completely socialist now, heading towards communism. Pretty soon, people are going to be jailed for speaking their opinions. You can already get arrested for it. Hate speech. The First Amendment, I did a piece on this some time back. The First Amendment was written to protect hate speech. It wasn't written to protect stories about unicorns and rainbows and everybody peace, loved up. That's not why the First Amendment was put in place. It was put in place so we could engage in hate speech toward the government particularly. And look at all the people now. People are still in prison having their Fourth Amendment rights violated by the government of the United States. People still in prison from January 6th, 2020, or 2021, who haven't had a trial yet. This is ridiculous. That is communist. That is a gulag mentality. So it's scary. And if you're a liberal, a Democrat, and you see something like that and you think that's okay, you are making a grave mistake. And not just because you don't agree with me, but because when that becomes the way things are everywhere, you are not safe. You're not safe from the Democrat government, because at some point there will be the haves and the have-nots. And if you're not one of the haves, you're going to be a target. You won't be able to speak your mind, because if you think the government is always going to do the things you think they ought to do and the things that you agree with, that's never going to happen. And if you say anything about it, you're going to end up in jail without a trial in some American gulag somewhere. That is just the way it's going to be. I just don't know. It's scary. It's disheartening, and I'm terrified for my kids and my grandkids. My oldest grandson, who's 16 right now, is already saying he's leaving California. He wants to move to Nevada, it's incredible that Nevada has become a blue state, but it has. But it's not as bad as California. He wants to move to Las Vegas because of the job opportunities. He's a very smart kid. He's still gonna go to college and all that. And who knows? Maybe he'll change his mind and do something else. Maybe he'll stay here. I don't know. But I worry for my grandkids and my great grandkids. I don't have any great grandkids yet, but I do worry about the succeeding generations in my family. It scares me. I have daughters who are, I don't know that they're straight up liberals. I think one of them just doesn't understand what's going on. The other one's more of a libertarian, kind of a hippie libertarian. And then my oldest daughter was pretty liberal for a while, but she went to work at a school, and I think she's starting to see how the systems work. And she posts things now that are kind of heartening, where she doesn't understand some of the stuff that's going on and that people are allowing to happen, especially things that the government is allowing to happen. I don't know what to do. I tell my buddy that I have coffee with every Friday morning, he's just obsessed with politics, and I'm tired of it. And he'll sit there and he'll say, I know you're tired of hearing this. I know you don't watch this anymore. And I just tell him, I can't do it anymore, man. I'll be mad all the time, because he's always angry about things now. It's almost become, remember how liberals were always angry and we always laughed at them? But it's becoming to where people who are really into politics like he is, it doesn't matter what side you're on now. They're both angry. And nothing's going to get done. Nothing will ever get done as long as both sides are pissed off at each other. We have to, remember, I thought the country was doomed when Bill Clinton got elected. As it turns out, he wasn't that bad a president. I didn't agree with most of the stuff he did, but he was a real Democrat, a real American liberal. Hillary wasn't. His wife's a nutcase. But it wasn't that bad. I would love to have another president who was as far to the center as Bill Clinton was. But I just tell Don all the time, my buddy, man, you know what? All I can do is vote and hope for the best. He says, well, they're just going to cheat and they're going to win. And I don't know, maybe they will. There's no doubt that there was election fraud going on in 2020. And I imagine that every election since the very first one had some sort of fraud, but cheating of some sort. But now it's blatant. It's blatant. They know they're doing it. We know they're doing it. The media know they're doing it. The law know they're doing it, and no one does anything about it. Everybody just says, let's sit back and wait. And I don't know what to do about that. I don't. I really don't. But anyway, what do you think about all this? Are you worried about the pendulum continuing to swing until the clock breaks? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. Shoot me an email at motorport59@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content, and we'll see you all later.